Welcome to SQL-Academy. Today we are going to talk about Oracle SQL Scripting. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oracle SQL Scripting is an easy and powerful technique to write SQL statements, which can be data definition language, data manipulation language, or data control language statements like grant and revoke, or SQL plus statements like describe table or describe view, or even operating system commands. It's very easy yet powerful. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say we want to drop all the tables in our schema. So what we can do is we can type in drop table, table name, cascade constraint command for all the table names. However, typing table names for a lot of tables can be cumbersome, time consuming, and error prone too. So that's where our SQL scripting comes into the picture. It will help us out. Here is a demo. Here is my simple script. Select drop table, concatenate with a table name, concatenate with cascade constraints as column 1 from user underscore tables data dictionary view. User underscore tables has listing of all the tables I have. So here is the command, ddl command to drop all my tables is created. All we have to do is copy paste it, or we can spool it to a file and then edit the file a little bit and run it using the run command. Please don't try this at work because dropping the table can be pretty dangerous operation, especially if it ran in a production database by mistake. Because drop table will not only lose the data definition, the table data, it will lose the indexes, grants, triggers, and all the PL/SQL objects that are pointing to the tables will become invalid, and the view will become invalid. So it can do a lot more damage. This is just for demonstration purpose. You can use any tool you want if you like Toad or Oracle SQL Developer or any other tool which you are comfortable with. But I really believe that the SQL Plus is the best tool to do Oracle SQL scripting because of a lot of SQL Plus commands it provides to format the output of SQL script the way we want. For example, you can turn off the column heading using set heading off command. You can turn off the message that shows up at the bottom saying X number of rows selected using set feedback off. We can send output of our script file using a spool file name command. You can control the page size using the set page size 0 so that column headings don't get repeated. You can also control the page width using the set line size, for example 100 or however you want. And if your SQL commands are stored in a file, you can use a run command or at in the file location, or if you are in a current directory, or if the file is in the current directory, you can use at command. The quote operator is very handy for developing the script whenever we have to quote the quote. And believe me, we'll be quoting the quote many times when we do the SQL scripting. This makes the code really easy to understand. Here is a simple example on this slide. The quote operator, whatever you put after Q in single quote in a square bracket or a curly braces, it will show up. Oracle Data Dictionary views are very powerful ally for writing our Oracle scripts. It's worthwhile to have a brief introduction of Oracle Data Dictionary views. They usually follow in 3 broad categories: user underscore tables or user underscore views. Second one is all underscore, and third one is DBA underscore. The difference between them is user underscore views will have everything in your schema. For example, user underscore tables will list all the tables in your current schema. All underscore version of the view will have everything you have in your schema plus the database objects on which you have grants on. For example, all underscore tables will have all the tables owned by your current user plus the one on which you have either select, insert, update, delete, grant on it. And the DBA underscore views will have everything in our Oracle database. So for example, DBA underscore tables will have all the tables in our database. That includes the database objects owned by system and all other users too. Here is a list of commonly used database views. User underscore tables, user underscore views, list all the views, user underscore sequences, list all the sequences, user underscore indexes will have all the indexes, user underscore mviews will have all materialized views, user underscore procedure will list all the functions and procedures, user underscore triggers will have all the triggers, constraint will have all primary key constraint, not null constraint, foreign key constraint, and any other kind of constraint. User underscore tab columns will have table columns, table name, column data type, column width, etc. And user underscore objects list all the database objects. Database object can be a table, view, procedure, function, PL/SQL package, sequence, view, materialized view, etc. In this chapter, we will talk about the scripts for tables. We'll talk about two different kind of commands, SQL plus commands and SQL DDL commands. SQL plus commands are like describe table. In short, it's DESC. The describe table gives the description of the table columns and its data type and not null constraints if there is any. And the rename table will help us rename the table from one name to another one. And the DDL commands are like truncate table, which removes all the data from a table. It's much faster than a delete table without a where clause because it bypasses undo. And truncate table is just DDL command. It's not DML command, which is data manipulation language command. Create table will create a table based on another table in this example. And alter table modifies the structure of a table. If you want to move it to a different table space, or if you want to add a new column or modify existing column data type or add a constraint, we will use alter table. And the flashback table restores the table from a recycle bin. What happens is if you drop the table without using the purge option, the table structure and data goes to the recycle bin. So if you want to restore it from a recycle bin, we can use the flashback command. Let's start with the describe command. This simple SQL script will generate the describe commands for all the tables I have, which are starting with T. And if I copy paste these three commands, it's going to generate the description. You can spool the output to a file and share it with your team. So this is like poor man's entity relationship diagram, except it doesn't show any relationship. Another SQL plus command is for renaming the tables. This simple script is going to generate the commands to rename the tables. Rename table T1 to BT underscore T1. This is only going to be useful if you are in the initial phase of your development effort. Once you have created other database objects using your table name, it's going to be so hard to rename it because all of them will become invalid. But I want to just demonstrate rename commands here. Now let's talk about the SQL commands, SQL DDL commands. The first one is truncate table command. Select truncate table, concatenate with a table name and end with a semicolon from user underscore tables. This will generate the truncate table command. Truncate table, as we discussed before, is the best way to get rid of all the records from a table. The only caveat is if there is a foreign key pointing to the table, then it will give us error message. So just copy paste and it will truncate the tables. I am going to copy paste it. My tables were empty anyway. We are going to revisit the drop table command again, but here we are generating the drop table command prefixed with a schema name. and we are using all underscore tables there. It's always a good idea to prefix your database object with a schema name. So drop table schema name dot table name cascade constraints. Another SQL script we want to discuss about is to move the tables from one table space to another one. For some reason. There we go. Alter table, concatenate with table name, move table space. This is my new table space. That's where I'm going to move my tables. So you can copy paste and run them. So when you move the table from one table space to another, make sure you rebuild your indexes too, because table data is moving from one place to another, so indexes become invalid. Another simple script which we are going to talk about is if you want to copy the table from other remote database to your database, then you can use the DB link. I'm coming across an error message here. Let me fix my query and rerun it. There we go. So I'm creating a create table T1 underscore backup as select star from my table T1 at some DB link. So assuming you already have a DB link created, even if you want to copy table as well as the data, you can create a script like this. Of course, your DB link name might be different. Or if it's a same table, or I should say same database, then you probably won't need a DB link. If your tables have been dropped and you want to restore it from your recycle bin, assuming that your recycle bin is still working, then you can use this query to generate the commands. Unfortunately, I haven't dropped any tables, so there's nothing in my recycle bin, but I can go and select this script and drop the tables. I just dropped all three tables and rewrite my script. There we go. Once the data goes in a recycle bin, Oracle renames this table to this some weird funky name. But this is the command: flashback table, the table name, to before drop. Copy them. The reason it didn't work is because the table name went to the different line. So I need to generate it again. Set column 1 format A50 word wrap. Sorry, column 1 format A50 word wrap. I will copy paste my flashback tables script. There we go. Flashback table to before drop. So all the three tables that were dropped will be flashed back. There we go. Flashback complete. Now I do have all my tables now. Let's check it. Select table name from user underscore tables. There we go. We just restored our table T1, T2, T3. In this chapter 3, we will talk about 3 data manipulation language command script: update table, insert into tables, and delete from tables. Let's write a query SQL script to generate the update statements. This is SQL plus command for formatting the output. Here we are generating the command to update our data source ID column to HR. And since we are going to look at the columns where column name equal to data source, we are using user underscore tab columns. User underscore tab columns has column names for every table in our schema. So it generates update table command for us. Update table, update T1 set data source ID equal to HR, and then commit statement 2. Please notice that we have used a quote operator here, which we talked earlier. So quote operator makes it easier for us to quote the quote. In this case, we have a hard coded value HR in quote. You can see here that our headings are getting repeated. We can easily fix that by saying set page size 0 and rerun the query. There we go. The nice update statements are there. Well, it also picked up my views. I have a couple of views. So if we edit a where clause saying that where table name like T percentage, this won't show up. Let me change that. And table name like T percentage. This is my new query. Now we got the 3 update statements for table T1, T2, T3. Let me give you another example of the update. Here we are going to update our ID column with a row number in order to generate a unique sequential number. Most of the time we will be using the Oracle sequence to generate a number, sequential number, but in this case we are generating using a Oracle pseudo column row number. Again, we got for table T1, T2, T3 view. We can modify the query again to get rid of update of the view. Another script is for insert into the tables. Let's say we want to insert into our tables using our remote tables. So in this case, we are inserting into our table T1 using the table T1 at some DB link T1. A lot of time we'll be copying the data from other databases. At that time, this kind of script can be really handy. Notice that I don't have a commit here, but we can easily put a commit just like what we did in an update statement. So this is the example for insert statement. Let me give you another example of a delete statement now. Copy my script, paste it. I didn't paste it right. Let me clear my screen. Try it one more time. There we go. This generates the example to delete it. Delete from table T1 where data source equal to HR. For T2 and T3 we are doing the same thing. Again, the same concept. Here we are using regular expressions to limit our table T1 to T3. So this will delete it. Again, we can put a commit either after every delete, or we can do a one big commit after this. The delete statement, the little issue with the delete statement is if If you have a foreign key referring to it, then first we will have to delete from the child table. Otherwise, it's going to give us referential integrity error message. Are you interested in more information about Oracle SQL scripting? If yes, then the book is available on Amazon.com. The book name is Oracle SQL Scripting. It's authored by me. It's $4.99. If you are interested in instructor-led training on this subject, please visit www.theSQL-Academy.com to register for a class. And if you are interested in getting the free scripts, please send email to this sql.scripting@gmail.com and you will get automated email to get the download of all the script files. Thank you so much.